how are you living your own life today for tomorrow? Because Nigeria will stay, all of us will come and pass. We are passengers. He has lived his life. And so when I was consulted to look at how do you secure 2027 general elections, and I'm just wondering, secure? That's a tall order. What are we going to do? What are the things what approach can we look at? So I looked through some of the introduction, the current context and challenges of the elections that we have today, which has been, a lot of it has been spoken, about by Comrade Sam Amadi, looking at the measures for the 2027 general elections, addressing the electoral violence, also inclusion and the issues of gender-based violence, and then international collaborations and also observers. I will conclude and then look at some call to action. The 2027 general election is coming at a time where everybody is exhausted. There's a lot of exhaustion coming from citizens themselves because we are looking and seeing what did we do in 2023 and what happened to the off-cycle elections. Some of it has been pointed out already. When the 2023 general election happened, we used to have civil society organizations, and as some of you may recollect, I led the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room as a convener, aside from being the country director of ActionAid then. To the 2023 general election, after whatever happened during the election, INEC, in its usual manner, called all of us to a post-meeting or to a meeting. We used to have quarterly meetings with INEC to tell us exactly what is going on. And we had this meeting, and the first thing the chairman said was, we are about, that he was not going to talk about the 2023 general election. He was going to talk about off-cycle election. And I was dazed. So if we don't talk about what we have done, which amount was voted for, budget was given, what did you do with the election you don't want to explain to Nigerians? It was shocking for me, for many people to sit in that meeting. Immediately, when the media went out, I found my way, and I also walked out because I felt that place was no longer for me. And so it's a test for our own electoral process, is a text for dignity. How do we focus and look at the current challenges and then leverage the data-driven strategy and also complying, looking at the technology which we are supposed to use. Now, the current context, you are looking at the political landscape, a political scene that there is a kind of which is highly competitive. You have APC, you have PDP, you have the Labour Party, who are the major, political parties. But I can tell you that INEC is struggling. None of them has a registered voting, they don't have a register. So you can boast, we have 30 million people. Where is the registrar? They don't have voting. So there is no political party with a population. Where are the books? And these are things that INEC itself has been looking at. There is no political education by the political parties. They are supposed to conduct political education, but you only see people during their campaigns. Where is the political education? Because you want your members to vote. Or it's because voting is not important, it will be truncated, so there is no need investing in voting itself. You have electoral violence. The 2029 election and also the 2023 general election showed us so many violence, a lot of violence. Almost about 100 people died during the 2023 general elections. We're looking at Lagos, Rivers, Kano, and Kaduna State in so many ways. You're looking at the voter turnout as well, and this enfranchisement, that was done again, in its various forms. When we had Anambra election, the off-cycle election for Anambra State, there were so many things. The performance of the beavers, for example. The tech system, and young people were getting very, very interested, and you had some performance. Before 10 p.m., most of the results were uploaded on IREF. And so we had the results. So you could see who is winning and what is coming in. They don't conclude until they announce all the elections before INEC does a final pronouncement. So we were very hopeful. We moved from Anambra and went to Osun State. We had Ekiti. And then from Ekiti moved to Osun State and the beavers. And my question to INEC, we had a lot of internal meetings with INEC. And the strange thing was the INEC, the current INEC is still the current one. They were very, very open, telling us their problems. And so just like Ario, before the 2023 general elections, many of us were not sleeping because we're trying to block the holes. We thought INEC, the persons there, the managers were truthful, and we're working with them, hoping that the voting will count. And so when you look at the voter turnout and disenfranchisement, the last election was 29% that voted. That's the general election. So who is voting and who believes in voting itself is another. Another area is the security threats. We have the insurgents, the banditry. You have also the separatist movements here and there. You are in the northern region and also in the southeast region. INEC challenges the Independent Electoral Committee. They have their challenges. But the quality of citizenship is not about the machines. Machines don't operate themselves. Who is operating the machines? What is your quality, even as you are sitting down here now? What is your quality? Are you the one? Are you playing your role because you are in this world only for a time? Are you playing your role? Are you living your life? We look at religion in terms of no religion tells lies. Religion will tell you not to steal. So who is the thief? And so we need to mirror ourselves as we prepare for 2023 general election. And so you will look at the judiciary and the declaration of results. A lot of money was voted for INEC. INEC was supposed to be the one to pronounce elections. So what happened to INEC? And now the whole work is being given to the judiciary. Did you give them money to declare elections? Or is it INEC, should we give the work of INEC to the judiciary? We have overburdened, brutalized the whole system in terms of the judiciary. And so you've seen the challenges. So the National Orientation Agency is built to conduct civic education throughout the country. What is it doing? You are also looking at the quality of every citizen. Who is the quality of the citizen that is sitting in INEC as workers, as voters, as a judicial person, as a lawyer himself? You can see it's nice to see, Deji here this morning, getting out there and representing a lot of and all the lawyers who are out there, also making sure, and that is it started from our own time. When we were students, we didn't have mobiles. But when a student was arrested, Ganifa and me and Femi Falana will know where a student is arrested and they will come and release us. We had no idea who they are, but they were there as protectors. And so where are we now? So who is the citizen right now? The issue of corruption. I don't know what you are going to do. You can only sleep in one corner of a bed, in a room in one night. But look at how we are dirtying the system. You are building so many houses that you will never leave. And you destroy your children because you are acquiring and not investing in the human capital that we currently are looking at. And so the issue of strengthening the reforms or strengthening the framework, which the Abuja School has mentioned, the judicial independence. No matter how independent you make the judiciary, the person who is occupying the position, unless that person is committed to Nigeria. Patriotism was not an issue when we were growing up. And until now, we are standing on that patriotic zeal that we continue to say Nigeria is number one. Poverty has no tribe. Hunger has no tribe. Going to buy fuel has no language. And so in all of that, we put ourselves together to say, who are you in the context of things? You don't have two markets. Political party has no separate market. But the citizens, when it is convenient for the political class, they divide you between ethnic lines, religious lines, and so on and so forth. Yes, the funding, and I agree that INEC should be well-funded, but who is monitoring their funding? We need to hold them accountable for even the 2023 general elections. If you remember how much civil society struggled for the bill, even for the Electoral Act of 2022. We went on protest for it, and so many people who are in, because we have some comrades in the House, people told us that that bill will not be signed. It was the 7th time that the president signed the bill, and it was shocking to the House. And at that time, we said, you made a promise and you have to sign the bill. Eventually, it was signed. INEC itself has a commission. It was their guiding rules that was adjusted and approved almost about 2 months or so, or a month to the election, that they used to truncate the issue of the electronic vote transmission, because all of it was going on, and many of us were actually informed. There was INEC chairman had to debunk. We knew what the election result was predicted before the election itself, and it came to pass. And we were told that the election was not going to be transmitted. The presidential election was not going to be transmitted. And it happened. Personally, I called the INEC chairman to say, look, this is what we are hearing. I hope this is not what we're talking about. Because, you see, INEC worked so hard. They blocked all the loopholes when they brought on board the beavers. It blocked the holes. If they used it courageously, that would have been their escape way to say, declare this as it is. The chairman denied, issued a press conference. He went to Chatham House, and that question was asked. Again, he said no, that real time, the election results were going to be out. It didn't come out. From the civil society, we are not bothered about who is going to be on the table or who wins. Let the process be fair and free. Let Nigerians choose their own leaders by themselves, by the process of free and fair election. And when it doesn't happen, you realize one time that they were bringing some people on board who were card carriers, and we voted against it. We were not saying all of that. See, every Nigerian that occupies a position should be responsible, and that's where we are. And so, as enhancing voter confidence and turnout for the civil society organizations, I think it's really frustrating. And so, when we find organizations organizing, missions like this or workshops like this, you feel elated. You say, okay, maybe you are not crazy. Maybe you are still on the right side. Can we still talk about these elections? Because it's very, very frustrating. And the disappointment, some of us had to go through psychosocial support. Because we believed in the system, we had a system that would have given us the best election, but was truncated by the individuals in the leadership. And that is headed by the INEC chairman himself. And so you're looking at combating misinformation as well. We had to combat, to find ways with the social media. And by the way, the media has been doing a wonderful job. In all of the places that were the media, they have been doing their work effortlessly, and it's a great time to be, in partnership with the media at this time. The issues of logistics. We tried so much to see that logisticians, we brought them as a country director of Action Aid then. We brought in the logisticians to Radisson Blue in Ikeja with INEC, everybody that could fly any paper that does any movement of electoral materials, we brought them together. They say, you used to tell us on time, INEC tell us where you are moving the materials. And that brought the National Association of Road Transport Owners, National Union of Road Transport Workers, Maritime Workers, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Army, NACO, SACO, and everybody they were on board. And they signed a memorandum of understanding. But the time has come and gone. Who is the citizen, and where is your own road? We need to be able to leverage resources. I don't want to overemphasize the issue of the biometric voter authentication. That's looking at the biometric voter accreditation system, the BVAS itself. BVAS is excellent. What he did in that's a Kogi election, was wonderful. They presented more than 500 BVAS. How can you, what kind of Supreme Court do we have? I'm not talking of the other courts now. The Supreme Court, you have, in some places, you have only 5,900 voters, and they brought in 69,000, results, people who voted in that particular place. 5,900 as against 65,000. They proved everything that they needed to prove to let even the judiciary look at us. Our eyes are open like this, and they say no. And that is overvoting. Overvoting is very clear according to the Electoral Act. But we have a judiciary that will say, no, the other person won, who won by overvoting, and so on and so forth. We are not against those who are winning, but be responsible. Transmission of the results, the way to go is electronic. There are no two ways about it. And it was the Section 18 of the INEC guideline that they used to truncate, the electoral form. So we can use, a lot of warnings can come about that artificial intelligence can bring about issues, early warning about hate speeches and so on, and the monitoring, of disinformation, and also the monitoring of what the violence level and so on and so forth. We need to be able to use mobile applications for independent observers from the electoral system, from that spot, to be able to report issues of election. The world is leaving us behind if we are not ready to move ahead. You need to address the electoral violence, the issues of pre-election security mapping. Some of the by-elections that we have gone to, where we thought was a heavy spot, that was a bad spot. I am telling you, the security system in Nigeria is very, very strong. What they want to do, they will do it. We went to Osun State. When we got to Osun State, we thought it was going to be a non-issue. There was a lot of violent spots. We did it. It was the most peaceful election because the police had gone and quieted those areas. They know what they have. But the political leadership, many of them are a waste of a generation. Engaging the political actors, signing the peace accord. You saw what happened in Edo. Edo is just playing around again, it looks like we are jokers in this country. We can't go like this. We will not continue like this. The country cannot continue the way it is now unless something is done. If something is not done, like Dr. Amadi said, is a collapse. The issue of youth inclusion and women inclusion, gender-based violence is a whole loss. The Federal Character Commission was built in Nigeria to correct the diversity, the issues of diversity in a boardroom or in the governance process. The same, character commission can be used to correct the diversity in terms of the more than 50% of your population. Women are not asking, we are not begging, we are talking of the quality of those who are taking decisions. And when they are absent, you cannot have that kind of quality of decisions. And so basic infrastructure for persons with disability is very important during elections itself. International observers, very, very important. The EU result was frowned upon by the Nigerian government. We had you needed to know the amount of people that came for the Nigerian election. They were so hopeful. But very unfortunate, the INEC was full of its disappointment, and collapsed whatever system or the integrity that we had. The election observer missions, I just want to say that, in 2020, to secure 2027, general elections, there is a lot of disenchantment among the young people. I don't know what we will do. I can't but be hopeful for Nigeria. I'm very, very hopeful. This is one of the greatest countries in the world. It's one of the best countries in the world. I came in, we have all been traveling. I came in yesterday from another place. I don't want to come from anywhere but Nigeria. I believe in my country. And so immediate call to action is that you need to be active as citizens of Nigeria. If you sit like that, everything will come and meet you at the doorstep. Climate change is real. You are sitting in your home. Look at what happened in Borno, for example. They knew that dam had questions. They planned for it, and many lives ended that night. Nobody has gone to jail. Responsibility, sanctions, nobody has gone to jail, which is very unfortunate because some people were responsible. They are the killers. They ought to be. You are arresting other people for treason. You have people who are killing a lot of people in volumes, and you have nothing to tell them. There is early deployment and planning that we need to do. We need to continue. If we are hopeful, we can't but continue to engage. Collaboration between the political parties, Civil society organizations, international communities, and for a transparent system is what we advocate for. I will do my bit. Will you do your bit?
Updates.